think we're ready. Let's see here. There we go. Alright, hello guys. I don't think I'm going to be streaming for long tonight. I just wanted to draw for a little bit and kind of just relax and maybe watch some YouTube videos. I have a little hard time falling asleep tonight, so I figured I'd at least do something with it. Different side of Maywood, it seems. Yeah, I'm a little sleepy. It's been a really long week. But, you know, we do what we can. Quieter here in a second. Fix that. Is that any better? The song was kind of loud. By the way, if you have any video recommendations, just go ahead and send them. I'll probably be streaming for maybe like an hour or so, just for a little bit. I wanted to draw a little bit, and for some reason I have a way easier time like getting stuff done when drawing when people are watching me, so Oh, you meant by the other side. Okay, I see. Yeah, I have it set up like that so you can actually see the YouTube videos on the right-hand side. Once we get started with that, you'll be able to see. Do you have one recommendation? What is it? I have to take up half the stream. I did want to, what is it? I did want to watch that one Deltarune video you sent, the Northern Light Theory one. But we don't have to watch Deltarune stuff. It doesn't really matter to me. I just wanted to chill out a little bit. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, this is perfect, actually. Yeah, it was either this one or the Northern Lights one that you sent, so... YouTube didn't autoplay when I opened links, but... Yeah, this is perfect. Awesome. Well, we have plenty to watch while I draw, then. YouTube's being poopy. Oh, Super Eye Patch Wolf? Dude, I love this guy. This is a 5-year-old vid. This video has 9.1 million views. Oh my gosh. Jeez. Alright. You know, actually, I had an idea for a video a couple days ago. I had an idea of, like, just making a YouTube video talking about, like, I don't know, the weird, like, left versus right stuff that's been happening, like, with the quote-unquote Deltarune fandom, or whatever the heck you want to call it. I think it would probably make a pretty interesting video, especially if it's, like, just more even, like, fair, and, like, fence-sitting, I guess you could say. Just showing, like, what's going on. I think it'd be pretty interesting for a video, but I don't know. Maybe not. I'm a little too interested in all the Twitter stuff, so maybe it's just me. Oh, no, you're fine, Pathfinder. No, you're not, like, over-demanding or anything like that. I've had a really hectic week, and I just wanted to make sure, like, I didn't come off like I was just, like, ignoring you or putting you off or anything like that. I hope it didn't come off like that, so... Alright, we'll get started on watching these videos. I've got a little bit I want to work on this. So, this is the... that character I was talking about the other day. That little wolf theme one I was thinking of. I gotta change the proportions a little bit, because it looks a little... I don't know, it looks a little too childlike for my tastes, but we'll get it changed and whatnot. You know what it's like raising animals, even if not the livestock way. I hope the sheep are okay now, by the way. Yeah, it was... They're okay. It's fine. I don't know, it's been really hard this past couple of weeks, just because, like, I have a lot of, like, I'm very thankful, very blessed to have a lot of land that the sheep have to eat off of. The only problem is I don't have fencing, so I have to put up fencing, like, it's like a temporary fence that I put up. It's like an electric fence, right? So it keeps them in, keeps them safe, and it works pretty well. The only problem is we're kind of in a drought right now, which is kind of, like, insane for the area that I live in. We normally get a ton of rain even during summer. So we have a ton of grass for the sheep to eat, but it's so dry that they don't want to eat it. And they got really picky this past week and decided... All 22 of my sheep decided it would be a great idea to break through my fencing and just wander around and not stay in the fence after putting them back in it. So I had a whole hectic Friday. I had to go buy like some like permanent fencing and whatnot and had to set all of that up. Like I created a whole corral for them that they're now in right now, and I'm feeding them hay, like dry hay, just because, like, even though we have grass, like, the sheep are refusing to eat it because it's so dry, but they've been eating high on the hog the past couple of years with all, like, the sweet, fresh, like, grass, and it's just been a whole week. I'm trying to wrangle selling a couple of them, because, I mean, that's always been my intention to, you know, breed and raise sheep and then sell the extra ones to people, so that they can raise their own. But trying to actually, like, finagle that has been kind of annoying. But I have a couple of buyers interested. I talked to a lovely woman today, and she used to be a sheep breeder, and she wants to get back into it, and it's, like, super wholesome, and she's super sweet, and I love it. Maywin is a proper frontier woman from the 1800s. Dude, it feels like it sometimes. Like, I don't know, where I live, we don't have I don't get water from the city. Like, I actually live in the woods. Like, I have a well that I get water from, but I don't get city water. And the well that I have isn't that deep. Hillbilly. Yeah, kind of. So, the well that I have actually isn't that deep, because I live right above, like, bedrock. I think it only goes down, like, 30 or so feet into the ground. So, I actually can't use too much water, like, per hour. Like, the most water that I can do per hour is, like, 50 gallons. and it's kind of tough having animals with that, but it's been okay. It's been okay as long as we get rain. Like, we have plenty of water. But the problem is like, we've gotten so little rain, like, the past 2 months that, so I have an old cistern on the property, too, like an actual, like, well, like, one you can fall into, not just, like, a pipe drilled into the dirt. But, like, so I have an older style well that I usually use, just to check how much water we have, because it's about 5 feet across, and it goes down to the bedrock, so it's a pretty deep hole, and it's normally pretty full. This year, my cistern that's normally full of water is down almost 30 feet, and that's it's pretty bad. But we did at least get a little bit of rain yesterday, so I hope it turns around, because it's been really dry, and my sheep have been getting out of the fence, and I live right down the street from a highway, like, about a block, so, like, if they get out and, like, get into the highway and someone, like, hits one of them, like, not only, like, would I be really upset about my sheep, but then, like, someone could get hurt if they accidentally hit one, and it's just... it's been a whole thing. Hey Marmalade, good to see you. I hope you're doing good. Alright, let's... Sorry, I don't mean to vent so much. It's been a long week. Having livestock can be really rewarding and really fun, and at the same time it can be really annoying and, like, super frustrating, and sometimes God decides that you don't get any water, and that's okay, and you just have to deal with it. I am excited though, because we are selling a couple of the lambs, like, they're ready to leave their mom and whatnot. We should, like, if I can actually sell a couple of them, we might get a little bit of money from it, and basically that money is going to go into, like, permanent fencing for them, so hopefully we can upgrade things a little bit and make sure the sheep don't hurt themselves and don't hurt someone else. And sorry, I don't mean to vent. It's just been a whole thing. Oh, yeah, no, I haven't pulled the video up, sorry. Just venting a little bit. Let's see here. Alright, so I think let's watch the Weird Route one first. Yeah, because that one's pretty long. And then after that, we'll probably watch the second one that you sent too, so... Let's go pause this one. Go ahead and... Okay, so this got that. Oh, what happened? It got all messed up.
Usually, I talk...
No, don't do that. Hang on. Just fix this real quick. Alright, there we go. If that's too small, just let me know. It should be decent enough for what we're doing, so. It's all good, not like you get much attention on here anyway, and at least you're venting to friends. We're always here to listen listen if you need us. I appreciate that. Yeah, especially with, like, a late night stream like this. Like, I don't know. I get a little self-conscious sometimes, but it's not too serious. Been meaning to ask who's the 90s anime Fox girl. So this was the wolf character I was talking about a couple days ago. She kind of looks like a fox. I'm hoping that I'm gonna change the colors a little bit because I want her to look more like a red wolf, like one of those the endangered species. But we'll see. All right, let's get started on this.
About alternate universes or different fan
And if it's too quiet, just let me know.
I've gotten a lot of suggestions saying that I should talk about the Weird Route and what happens in Deltarune Chapter 5. So in this video, we're going to take a full retrospective look into the Weird Route up until Chapter 5.
An OC, I presume? Yeah,
and discuss some theories on where the game could be going and what the ending means. There will be timestamps if you want to skip straight to the theories and hear my thoughts on Chapter 5, but I think it's important to look at it as a whole and speculate what happens next. This will be a thorough analysis, so get ready. But without further ado, let's go back to where it all started. For those who don't know, you can't actually start the Weird Route until Chapter 2. Most players know what they will be doing is pretty evil, so they end up killing everything in Chapter 1 just to really make everything more miserable.
I feel bad for Noelle. She's the reason I wouldn't be able to do the Weird Route. You say that, but I don't know. It takes a really weird turn in Chapter 5.
Around one character.
And it like completely flips the previous narrative on the head of like Noelle's just like being taken advantage of. It's like Chapter 5 is like she's like like if you try and stop doing the Weird Route in Chapter 5, she gets upset with Chris and forces him to do it.
Not as much. It's not until this chapter
hey Fleischer, how you doing?
Past memories and bond with each other once
Let's
again.
See,
during the normal route, you get a lot of wholesome moments. You get to watch as Noelle gets the courage to speak to her crush and grow stronger in a much more natural way. But in the Weird Route, you determine her strength. Or more accurately, you define what strength is for her. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. The Weird Route begins when Noelle and Chris are alone in a party together, and you decide to go the opposite way you're supposed to. Every step in this route is so specific, and it's actually quite easy to abandon it even by accident. Interestingly enough,
I'm doing alright. You missed the rant or the vent I just had about my sheep and whatnot.
Every enemy by using Noelle's
I'm doing okay though.
Freeze them. When you first get into battle, Noelle is confused and scared. She has no idea what's happening, but you know what you're meant to do. Block gives you just enough TP to use Ice Shock, which I found to be convenient. Noelle doesn't understand why she's doing it. She just knows that someone she trusts is telling her to. After the player has finished backtracking up until the trash zone in the same area as the locked door that would later lead to Spamton's shop,
Rant, was
Noelle
it bad?
Chris brought her here. It says that it's creepy since no one is around, but also it feels nostalgic. They turn around and continue forward again.
Yeah, I think like I don't know. Noelle has something like kind of funky hiding underneath her like surface. Like I don't know. It's like she's like hiding like what she actually wants, and I think what she wants is like kind of bad, if that makes sense.
Alive, but they're not dead. Every time all the enemies in the area have been frozen, or another important route requirement is completed, a brief ominous blip sound that descends in pitch is played. Once again, I feel like this is important to point out because it's like the game is guiding you. Something is telling you that you're making progress. If you spare any enemies after this point or cause them to run away, the game will automatically correct itself, and the enemies who were frozen aren't anymore. It can't be Chris to deal damage, it has to be Noelle. Noelle is thrown into this world with no clear guidance or how things work. Without Rouse here to guide her or correct you, she only has us to listen to. But to her, she's listening to Chris. We continue to the first mouse puzzle, and when we activate it, it scares Noelle.
Anything I can pray for?
Out. Instead of solving the puzzle like
I don't know. I feel like
forward. Noelle asks
I'm trying. So I had some issues with our sheep getting out of the fence, and We had to
Despite this,
do
we
a
tried to
whole lot of
leave
hard
again.
work with creating a
Noelle
corral
asked
for
if Chris
them,
is
and
really
it's been
going
really
to leave her,
dry,
even making a
and they
joke
don't
of
want
the
to eat the dry
situation,
grass
reminding
that we have in the
Chris of pencils
field.
and cookies she
And
shared
I'm
with
trying
them.
to
We
sell
tried
the
to leave
sheep.
again. In response, Noelle offers to do Chris's homework. We try
Maybe
to leave
peace.
again. We keep trying until she
I know that's
realizes that we
like,
might
maybe it's
actually
like
leave
too
her
broad, but I
behind
don't know. It's
alone
just,
in this
things have
world.
been super
And we're
hectic,
met with a
and
decision. The
I
most
feel like I
iconic
just have
and
so much on my
horrifying
plate,
word
and
appears.
it's just going to keep on
Proceed. We have an
escalating until
option to apologize and
October,
continue,
and
to abandon the route, to assure her that
sending
this
hugs
was
and
just
prayers.
a
I
dumb
appreciate
prank.
it,
But the
Fleischer.
other
I really
leads down
do.
a much darker path.
Honestly,
A
all of
word
you.
we have to say every time it appears. Proceed. She's confused, scared of the mice. The same option appears again. We repeat
Basically,
the
Noelle
same
knows
thing.
what she wants is bad,
She's
but tries being a
hesitant,
good
but
person
she
when not
closes her
pushed.
eyes
Sounds a
and
little
runs
spiritual
across. A
warfare-esque.
sigh of relief
Yeah,
escapes her
I
as she
think
hopes
that's
she doesn't have
what
to do
Toby
that
Fox is
again.
going
She
for.
questions when Chris got so
Because like she
bossy.
talks
No
about like
permanent
wanting
damage
to like
has been
escape
done yet, but
and
the
like
simple
stop
action
doing
is
quote
making
unquote
her
like
listen
Noelle
to us,
things. It's
to
like,
force her to move forward,
but like
no
the way that
matter
she
what's
says it
ahead.
is
After
like,
this, we continue to freeze everyone
it's
in our path as we're
like
supposed
she
to,
wants
until we
to
reach an
like
advertisement
break
with
the
a Ferris
rules
wheel.
of the game,
Noelle
and
says
I
that this
don't
Ferris
think
wheel
she
makes the
cares
one in hometown
how
look
she does
small.
that.
Then she
If that
wonders
makes
if
sense.
Susie
I
would
think she's
ride with
willing
her.
to step on
When given
others,
the option, you have to
but
pick,
maybe
"I
that's just
will
me
ride
reading
with
too much
you."
into it.
Notice how in this specific dialogue box it says
Thank you,
"I" and
Fleischer.
not Chris. I know it makes sense, but in this context, it sounds more like a command as opposed to a
Alright,
suggestion.
let's see
One
here.
not from Chris. At first, she denies it. She looks back on when they rode together as kids. Chris would shake the Ferris wheel at the top. She says no, but then we get a very oddly worded option. Noelle will ride with me. This doesn't feel like Chris is saying this. Some options we have seem like things Chris would say.
This
And
seems a
sure,
little
there are a
tall
lot
now,
of
doesn't
moments
it?
like this, but this
Yeah.
one remains demanding. Seeing Chris act so serious
Transform.
in word things
Mesh
like this,
transformation.
she
Let's
responds
see here.
nervously, trying to make a joke about making up how they were for when they were kids. Noelle is almost convinced, but she thinks that this can still just be a very solid prank. But the next action reveals it's anything but. We talk to a salesman who offers to sell the two dating shoes. Noelle states that they have it all wrong and that they're just friends, but notes that even though they've been through so much together, it's weird to say it.
Okay,
Once
yeah.
again, we're
That's a little
presented
better, I
with
think.
a choice. And the answer is obvious. We're something else. The words are incredibly vague, and it's
We're
strange
something
that it's worded
else.
this way. Noelle even questions what that means and says there isn't a good interpretation. And she's right.
Huh.
As you walk away, the salesperson offers you a different item.
Maybe we should do a
something
weird
else.
route run.
They offer us a freeze ring. I'd like to stop and ask why this specific NPC has something like this. Noelle notes that they don't need something like that, and in response, the salesperson says they can't get stronger without it. Also, it could just be the way that they speak, but them saying angel will be important later and continues to be a theme throughout
Alright,
the whole
let's see
route,
here.
even the game. Being the only thing she knows about this place, Noelle says that getting stronger is just how it works here, having no idea that there is an alternative. She also doesn't believe Chris would buy her a ring, and she's right. A text box appears. The words, "Get it." Noelle is shocked Chris would buy her a ring. She then asks how much it is. It will always be one more than your current amount, no matter what. Even though we don't have enough, we say it again. Noelle says they can't afford it, yet we say the same thing. She's confused, until the realization hits her. Get it. She says that she could never, yet we command her again. A sound is played as the screen turns black. We've obtained the freeze ring. We don't get to see what happened. Noelle isn't entirely sure either, distancing herself from the idea of hurting someone. But as a cope, she says, besides, it's good to get stronger, isn't it? Then she thanks Chris. This is haunting. We're going against everything we were taught in the last chapter, and the sad part is,
I
this
may be a
is
tad
only the
sappy.
start.
Seriously,
We
Maywin,
equipped
you
the
may
freeze
not have
ring
done this
and keep
VTubing thing
going.
for a long
We passed
time,
the
but
shock
you're genuinely
puzzle.
one of the most
Noelle is
positive
having
recent influences in the
intrusive
scene.
thoughts.
For
I
the
think
kind
this
heart that
was
Fleischer
implying that
mentioned,
she
you always
wanted
know the
to step
best,
off the
smartest things to
switch
say in
and
any
let Chris
situation,
get
especially
shocked.
in the encyclical
But as she's
streams.
thinking to
I
herself,
really
we
appreciate
get a
that.
choice to
It's
reassure her. despite the fact that she's
I don't
not
know.
saying
It's
anything out
been
loud
really
to respond to a thought she has.
fulfilling, like streaming for me. Maybe to
We
get a little
actually see
sappy
few
myself.
intrusive thoughts like
I
this
don't
throughout the game,
have a
and
whole
even
lot of
in the
friends
normal
in
route.
real life.
Like how sometimes she wants to
I
strangle
try
Berdly.
to make friends
Moving
with
forward,
people, but
enemies now
I
run
don't
away
know.
from you.
A lot of the
Battles
real
are
life
becoming
friends that
more
I've had
terrifying as you
in
succeed
my area,
making Noelle stronger. With the
they
freeze
just
ring, it only takes
no one ever
one
seems to reach
attack.
out to me unless I
When you go to your
reach
next
out to
save
them
point, it
myself, and
says
then
you
just
and Noelle
you know
are
things just
filled
kind of
with
slowly
power.
just
Your next
stop being a
objective is to
thing
find
and
Spamton,
whatnot.
who is in a different
So
location
like,
than normal.
I don't know.
He says
Maybe
that
it's a
he
little
has an item for
parasocial,
you,
but
but you
live
need to be
streaming and like
stronger.
hanging out with you
Spamton
guys
will
has
let
really
you know
helped me
how
just
many
like kind
enemies
of
are left that you have to
get out of my
freeze before
shell
he
a little
offers
bit,
it
I
to you.
guess.
So we'll come
Kind of
back later and
be a little
continue with
more
the route.
extroverted than
You
I
and
normally
Noelle
am, and I
encounter
think it's
another
been
puzzle.
pretty
She
good
asked
for
how
me,
we should
honestly.
solve it. You could say you'll solve it together, but we know what we have to do. An explanation isn't needed.
You have
And when
incredible
she
game
asks for
taste, and
one,
overall,
we
you're one
say
of the
the
best
same
big
thing and
sister
step
S
closer
VTubers
to
I've
her.
met.
She asked
On
what
my
you're
Mount
doing,
Rushmore of
and if
Catholic
everything is okay,
VTubers
we say the
who
same
represent
thing.
the faith the best
Stepping
for all
closer
you've done
to
for
her.
us and all
She's
you
inches away
do
from
to spread the
lightning.
good
You
news,
could tell
however you
she's
do it. It
terrified.
should be
She asked
little
Chris
wonder
if they
we want to give
really
back to you
heard what she
thousandfold
said
like you give
earlier,
to us.
how
We
she
genuinely love you,
implied
best
she
sheep in
wanted to
VTubing.
shock us.
Thank you.
And now here we
Oh my
are,
gosh.
threatening
You're gonna
to
make me
do the same.
blush.
We say proceed once
Well, you're my
more.
friend,
The
better yet
screen
family.
goes
You
black.
guys are
A
too
sound plays, and
kind.
every
Oh my
obstacle
gosh.
is
I'm gonna have to
frozen.
frame all
We're
of these,
basically
dude. Hang them up.
enabling those intrusive thoughts when we say that it's normal and repeating the same
You guys
thing
are
that she did
unbelievable. I
back
really
to her.
appreciate
Every
it.
time there's an issue, every time
I know I'm
there
just a
appears to
silly
be something in the
sheep
way, with this one
VTuber,
word, we can
but,
do
you know,
anything. Noelle thought at
I do
first we were
appreciate that you
trying
guys
to
spend
help
your
her,
time with
but
me and
came to
hang
the
out.
conclusion we were just making her stronger, which is what's important. Anyone who is left is frozen in place, stuck in between life and death. We continue forward, and when the next
That's it.
puzzle
I'm gonna
shows
make another
up,
fan
she
art.
takes initiative, offering to solve the puzzle before Chris has to say anything. The screen goes dark, and
More
as
than a
it does,
VTuber,
she
your
thinks to
family?
herself. She's leaning further.
Well, that's
into
good.
the
I don't-
power clip. She feels
I don't
like
know.
for once she's taking initiative.
I feel
doing
all
things
all
herself.
flustered and
Every
whatnot
time
now,
she
but
does
like
it,
I don't have
she
a whole lot of
gets
family, so
stronger.
that's really good
She
to hear.
claims she doesn't remember what she did to get the ring or how she solved the puzzle, but it doesn't matter if she can't remember. That the
Stop
battles are
it, you
blurring
guys.
together. Chris tells her to do it. She can do things she could never do.
You're getting me
before.
all
When she's
flustered.
done solving the puzzle, she asks if we should go find more enemies. She's eager to get stronger now. We freeze everyone left and go back to Spamton. When he talks to us, he says Angel again, and asks if we want the Ring of Thorns for 1,997 Chromer. Saying yes gives us an item exclusive to the weird route called the Thorn Ring. Spamton's dialogue after purchasing it is also interesting, as he says you'll
You guys are gonna
regret
make me
it for
cry,
the rest of your
honestly.
life. And given what happens next, I definitely regret doing this route. There are a lot of moments that I'm sure you all were waiting for me to talk about, and the next encounter makes it to where there is no going back. Burnley stands in our way. He's glad that Noelle is okay, and when he asks what we're doing, she responds with getting stronger. He's confused by this, asking how. He can tell that something is wrong. The game plays out completely differently. A once fun and sort of silly interaction turns into a fatal and permanent decision. We are now the villain, and Beardley is standing against us. Noelle even wants him to run away since she knows what we're doing. First off, we notice that the Thorn Ring does a bit of damage to Noelle when the battle starts. She
Oh.
has a new ability after being given the Thorn Ring, Snowgrave. This move was what the route was often referred to by fans until recently. Though you can still call it that and people will know what you're talking about. You have to block for a few turns as it uses 100% TP and also says fatal. After getting the required
You deserve
amount,
it and have earned
Noelle
those tears
says
with all
that
you've been
she
through, my
doesn't know
friend.
that's
Thank you
bad,
for genuinely
but
being
you
my
gave
biggest
her command.
VTuber highlight of
So
the
you
year
say
and one
it
of
again.
the best friends I've
She
met
doesn't
in
know
the
what we're
scene.
talking about.
don't even know how
I
to,
think
like-
that she has a feeling,
I-
but she repeats the same
How
thing.
how do I
We press
react
it
to that?
again,
I don't.
She asks us to stop. The music is
You're too
important.
sweet.
It
Guys,
lacks
stop it.
substance of Beardley's original theme. things are much more dire.
Honestly, I gotta
Berdly
frame
doesn't
these.
even
I don't
get
ever
another
want to lose them,
turn
you know?
After we press it, Noelle yells in anger, saying, "Watch what happens." When she
Gosh.
spell she doesn't know. Your TP drains, and Snowgrave is successfully casted. Completely frozen in place. Noelle doesn't even understand what happened because there was so much snow. She's in complete shock. She doesn't glance at Berdly. She simply says she's going to go home despite not knowing how. She begins to walk off screen before the battle ends. When it does, Beardly is still frozen. So much so we can't even see through it because the ice is so thick. Now we're all alone, and all that's left is to continue forward. Things play out completely differently now. You take a shortcut straight to Queen's Castle when we get there. Susie and Rousey are waiting. Susie
I know, like,
asks
two
if
sheep
Chris is
VTubers,
okay,
and you're
but Rousey
by
interrupts
far
and
the
mentions
cooler
how
and
Susie
sweeter.
can heal
I really
we
appreciate that. Thank
completely
you.
miss that part, and characters find out about things differently. You don't get access to the shop at all.
I
Rules
try
is blocking the
I
way,
try to be
turned
myself,
stone. The castle's music is
and
different.
I try to
It's
be.
much more ominous. If you go to where you would for
I try.
Quentin's
I'm not
boss
so
fight, he
successful
has
all
new
the time, but I
dialogue.
do
It's
try to
because
be
of you
fair
and
to
Noelle
others.
that he was able to get his dream body.
Maybe I'm not so
There was
good,
no one to
and
stop
that's
him as he entered the castle.
why I
So he
pray a
didn't
whole
need
lot.
to. The castle music also resembles his theme, and almost every obstacle has Spamton's face on it. There's a room full of Pippus, which is associated with Spamton's character. You even have to fight it instead of the normal enemies. He's completely taken over Queen's Castle, and Queen is nowhere to be found. There are still a few enemies around not related to Spamton, but for the most part, it's a takeover. If we fast forward a bit to Noelle's room, Susie invites Chris to come with her, but they refuse. After what happened, Chris doesn't want us to see what we've done, nor do they want us to face her at all, so Susie goes inside alone. This is normally where you would close your eyes and see what they were talking about. But when Rousey tries, there's no response. Chris just stands there. Rousey tries to say it again, but the result is the same. Before anything happens, Susie rushes out of the room. Rousey is in shock. This clearly wasn't meant to happen this way. He asked what happened, and Susie just says that she told her that this was all a dream and she's feeling better. When Rousey asks what else, Susie just says nothing else happened and rushes them along, but says to Chris that she
Mind
would
you,
tell
you aren't
them
the only
later.
VTuber
She
friend I've
never
met,
does,
but
at
honestly,
least
there's
we don't
something
get to see
special
it.
about you,
There's
Vera,
no
and the
build
rest
up
of the
to
Rat
Queen
Pack I
boss
just
fight.
can't explain.
Everything
I know you
is
guys
pretty
can be
much silent.
buttholes and
She gives us a
crabs at
usual speech
times.
about the night.
Yeah,
She brings
maybe
up
a little
Noelle.
too
She
much
mentions that
sometimes, but
she
yeah.
needs rest. Noelle is normally
But you're
attached
all
to the hand
genuinely
she
a
brings
second
up,
home
but
to me.
she's
You
absent.
and Vera's
In a much
community
quicker
alike.
fashion,
I wish one day I
Queen
can repay
finds
you
out
guys
about
for all
the
you
boring
do
from Rousey,
in a way that
completely
truly
skipping
matches the
boss
impact
fight.
you
When
all
I saw
made.
this, my jaw dropped.
You're all amazing
It
people and
honestly
some of the
felt
greatest
so
digital blessings I've
wrong.
ever
People don't
received.
come
That's
together to teach Queen this
Man, that
isn't
is
the way.
such
There
an
is no
insane thing to
character
say.
development
I
for
I
any of the
never
characters.
thought that
The
like
lighthearted nature of it
anyone
just isn't
would
here. The awesome Queen boss fight
would
is gone. Sure, there are
like
still a
hanging
few
out
funny
with
moments,
me
but
on the
it's
internet
so
so much
empty.
and like
She also
enjoy
says she couldn't
doing
find Berdly
things.
no matter how
I don't
much
know.
she searched, which
I appreciate
is
it.
interesting. Queen just
I-
tells Chris to seal the fountain.
I don't
It
know.
seems
I
no
I
one
have a
knows
hard
what
time
we've
finding
done.
the words
At
for it,
least
but
it seems that
I
way.
feel the same,
As we
you know.
leave, Susie offers for Queen
I really
to stay at
appreciate
Castletown, and then goes back to check
you
on
and
Noelle.
Fleischer
Meanwhile,
and Marmalade
Rousey stays
hanging out with
behind to
me
tell
and
Queen
just
about
I,
Castletown,
you know,
leaving us
taking
alone
time out
to
of your
seal the
days
fountain.
just to
This was
hang out
extremely
and
depressing
spend
for me,
time
as I'm
and
sure it
talk,
was for
you
everyone
know,
else.
and just enjoy
This
things.
likely
It's
isn't your first playthrough, and it only
it's really
gets worse for
wholesome.
Queen, which is a shame because she's genuinely a charming character. So without her boss fight, is that it?
Sorry if I ever
No.
get too much with
There's
the
a save
compliments, by the
right
way. I just
before
get
the fountain,
passionate when
and
it
right
comes to
next
friendship, and you
is
guys
a
feel especially
conveniently
important for
placed
some
vending
reason.
machine.
No, you're good.
You'll
You're
wanna
good.
buy
I know.
items here because what's waiting
It's
for
me.
you
I
is the
have a hard
only
time
Weird
taking
Route
compliments
exclusive boss
or
fight as
like
of Chapter 5
like
being
just
released.
positive stuff in general a lot of the time, just because I don't know. I didn't get a whole lot of it growing up, but you know, that's not because it's too much, you know?
Spamton Neo interrupts you before you can seal the fountain. Usually, he's a secret optional boss, but now he's here to block your way. And the reason for this is quite simple. He's aware of your actions and what you've done. I mean, he helped you. But he's not here to be a hero. He finally has the body he's dreamed of. The body that makes him quote-unquote God. And he's not going to let you take it away by sealing the fountain. This boss fight is much harder than the optional one in my opinion. I do have a skill issue, and I was here for a long time. You don't have your friends to join you, and your only option is to attack him. Dealing enough damage will cause him to raise his defense, remarking how Neo's defense is what it's known for. Ironically, when we fight Mettaton Neo, he dies in one shot. But here, it actually causes us to do little damage. It emphasizes that Chris isn't the one getting stronger. Your only option now is to call out to your friends, but nobody came. Your friends aren't there for you. You try to call for Susie over and over, nothing. Then Ralsei, nothing. Spamton speaks on how no one is going to show up. No matter how much you call, they won't pick up. It's actually through this boss fight we learn about his character. Behind him is a phone in his shop, and even though the phone rings, he never picks it up, and when he tries to call the person he's talking about, they don't answer. And even when he does pick up, they don't answer. He and Chris represent each other. Both are on strings, and no matter what they do, they can't escape it. However, there's one person you can call that will answer. Even just muttering their name will cause them to appear.
Maybe we should do a Weird Route
you know
run.
She's with Susie, you simply mutter her name. Spamton laughs.
Maybe whether it's the Toby Fox lore you have to share, your theories, your art, your theology talks, your lore, herbalism, or anything else, you have me hooked and I'm not going away that easily. You're one of the most underrated nerds on the internet, and I genuinely couldn't see myself not always going out of my way to promote you or other people in the community. That, man,
Our very soul begins to glow, and the fountain
you
is sealed.
are
we
so
never see her enter, but she still
wholesome.
listens to us.
I don't know how else to say it. You and Fleischer and Marmalade,
Noelle,
like you
quote-unquote,
guys,
wakes up, everything
and
seems
Vera,
normal, until
and you
Susie
were
says
like,
that Noelle looks like she was in a good mood, asking if she had a
we're
good
the
time.
Rat
Noelle
Pack.
says it was just a nightmare, and she's glad it's over. Susie is a little disappointed by this.
Marmalade, I don't want to hear it. All right.
When Susie asks what happened, she
I'm being
starts
sappy
thinking
here.
quickly.
All right.
She notices that Berdley hasn't woken up, but excusing that
You're
as
getting
he's
loved
just
on,
done too
nerd.
much, he needs rest. I think at this point,
All of
even
you.
if it was a dream, it has a lasting effect on her. She checks to see if Susie has a tail. It's clear she's trying to convince herself further that it really wasn't a dream. That, or I'm looking into this too much. In the normal
These
route, she
things
still does this, but here it
down
could have a
this.
double meaning. If Susie had a tail, it might make her spiral. Susie says she doesn't, and Noelle claims that it's great to hear, leaving the room. When she does, Susie normally says
I'm
that
working
it
on
feels
fan art. It's
like
definitely
they
an
saved the
upgrade
world,
from the
but
last
she
one.
says it's weird how
Your last one was
they
great,
saved
so
the world,
I'm
only
excited.
to correct herself and switch up and say they did. If you go back to Castletown, Queen will be there, and her only roommate is Trashy because everyone else was frozen. This is a miserable existence. She was looking forward to seeing everyone again, but she's met with disappointment. Now everyone from her world, aside from Trashy, is gone. Sorry, Queen fans. I just want to say early
All
on,
that is
before
to say,
truly
I
delving
just
into
genuinely hope
future
that you realize
chapters,
just how incredible
Ralsei
you and
might
robot
know
are, just how much of
something.
an
I don't think
impact
he's
you
withholding
have on me and
information
Fleischer
or
and
that
all of
he's
VV's
secretly
community.
evil,
I guess I
but
just
I
wanted
do
to
think
remind
he
you and
knows
lock in on
something
doing
based
so
on
since you've been through so much
interactions in
IRL and
Chapter
digitally
4.
lately.
Also, in Chapter
Well,
2,
it
if you
doesn't
talk
go
to the
unnoticed.
king, you can
Like,
usually get some
honestly,
sort of
like,
interaction
I don't know.
with him
I'm
each
really
chapter,
glad
but
I
in
streamed
this,
tonight
he
because I
simply
know I'm not
says,
doing
"Leave them
much, but
behind, just like you left us." Just some flavor text
like
and another
even just
reason
this
for
little
the king
bit
to
has
hate
helped
you.
me,
If
like
you
help
leave
pick
and
me
go
up
to
so
the White
much,
World
guys.
and go
Like
to the hospital,
it really
you
is
can find
insane.
Noelle and
Just
Rudy playing a game.
how
This
poopy this
interaction here
week has
really
been,
highlights
and
how
just
affected she is by
how
her
nice this
quote-unquote
is, you
career.
know?
In the game that her and Rudy are playing, there's a move called Ice Shot, and she wants to use it on an ice dragon, which doesn't make sense. Rudy points this out and offers to play for a bit, but strangely, Noelle says no. Rudy notices that this isn't like her to hog the controller and blames Berdley. I'm only highlighting this to show you how, in every interaction, she acts differently. She's still Noelle here, but it's slipping. Rudy says that she needs rest and sends her off. After she leaves, he asks to have a word with Susie. We don't see that conversation. Instead, we get more Noelle dialogue. She's reflecting on her dream, how it felt so real to her. It won't get out of her head. The voice telling her what to do. The voice that only mimics Chris's. Looking back at this, you notice when her
You're just doing enough. Are you doing enough by just being here, being yourself, and yapping the videos and art, or just icing on the cake? Well, you know, that's good to hear, because maybe we'll have more just lazy hangout streams in the future. I'm always so worried about just
and we answer to see you.
Just like
She's scared at first, reassuring
doing
her
like
again,
good
it was just a
content that
dream.
maybe it would
Till
just
she
be better. Just like,
notices
I don't know,
We're wearing her watch.
hang out,
To make
yeah,
it worse, when she
make
asks us where
jokes.
we got it,
That's it,
we say
you know.
in her dream, shattering her reality. This is until Susie comes out, where Noelle quickly leaves. Susie takes this as Noelle being scared of her again, which is obviously heartbreaking. Then she says how it would be nice if Noelle knew what they experienced was real. Chris tries to agree, but is very hesitant for obvious reasons. And that's the end of the weird route of Chapter 2. The psychological horror of taking away the innocence of a close friend and using them to satiate our curiosity is the core of this route. To want more options, even at the cost of feeling terrible. And it only gets more gut-wrenching from here. Most people, before Chapter 3, probably didn't find this on their own and discovered it through something else. Everything is so specific you'd need a guide to successfully start it. You'd have to mess around for a little bit. Which, placed in Chapter 3, there technically
I don't think I like
is
that very
one.
much.
There aren't too many things that change in Chapter 3, but I'll go over them because they do have some importance. During the sword route, after you get the person wearing the cloak, who is presumably supposed to represent Noelle, you have to freeze all of the enemies, which is an indirect guide to Snowgrave, as you may have known. Additionally, before you fight the Shadow Mantle boss, it has some
Something like
additional
that, I think.
dialogue on the Snowgrave. The voice is telling Chris that part of them is just enjoying this, and normally it
Yeah.
says, "Don't make that sour face. I can see in the dark, you know." Whereas, in the weird route, part of you is just enjoying this, isn't it? The same part of you that enjoyed yesterday, knowing you could say it wasn't really you.
Oh,
The
this
next
dialogue
line
is
proceed
different?
as normal. Now keep in mind, the Dark World reflects Chris. We know this
Huh.
based off of Tenna's interactions with them and what we learn about Dark Worlds. This implies that Chris has interest in what we're doing, or at the very least is curious. Though Chapter 4 does prove that they are trying to stop us, so this line is up to your interpretation. The next dialogue option
Honestly, maybe
is
I'm
what
just a
made me
choir
think
member for
Rousey
saying this,
knew
but the
more
best
than
moments
he
for
was
me in
leading
your
on, or at
streams,
least
well,
was
many of them
gaining an idea.
anyway,
After
were just our
completing
various
the
yap
board in
sessions.
Chapter 2,
Kind
instead
of like with the
checking on Susie,
encyclicals, whether
you
it's
could
theory
talk to
crafting,
Rousey. You
theology,
could
or
do this in
anything
the
else
normal
you,
route
Vera,
as
and
well, but
Fleischer
in
are
the
cooler
weird route,
yappers
you
than you
get
give yourselves
different
credit
dialogue.
for. I'm
Rousey
getting way
asks
more
about the
sentimental
festival
than I
and who you plan on
expected.
going with.
Yeah,
Choosing
yeah,
Noelle, the normal
same.
route has him say, if
Yeah,
Susie
I don't
was
know.
open to, Noelle would
I
probably
think,
really appreciate it. I'm sure the three
Normally
of
I'm
you would have
a
lot of
really
fun.
guarded
If it's
person,
the three of
and
you.
I don't really
Whereas
like
if you
talking
say
so
this in the
much. It's
weird route,
kind
he
of
says,
actually the reason I started
"Noelle,
streaming, like,
Chris,
just so I could get better
I
at,
think
like,
that's a
interacting
bad
with
choice.
people and
I mean, a
talking
bad
with
choice to make
people
alone.
and being more open
Noelle
and
might want
whatnot.
to go with Susie.
And
I hope you can figure out a nice solution.
I hope
Rousey
I
is
hope
a
I'm getting
little
better at it,
insistent on
because
Susie
it is
and Noelle
something that
spending time
I
with each other,
want to be able to
likely
get better
due to
at
the
and share with
prophecy, though
others,
this
you know?
isn't confirmed. This reaction is slightly different. You can tell he's indifferent to the idea and might know more than we initially think. I don't interpret this, again, as malicious, and I'm not saying Rousey is an evil mastermind, but I do think he doesn't know how to react and is trying to follow the prophecy or fulfill his purpose. We see a bit more of this in Chapter 4. If Chapter 2 was the turning point, then Chapter 4 is the breaking point. Chapter 4 truly leans into the horror of Deltarune, and after this point, there is no turning back. This route makes you fear every decision that you've made. Every choice is unsettling, and in Chapter 4, it's haunting. The first
I think
change
that looks pretty good
begins
for
at the
like
church
the
when
bangs and
gathering
whatnot.
information. When you talk to Rudy, who is actually one of my favorite characters, I know he doesn't get much screen time, but it's
Your
moments
cyclical
like
streams
this
are a
you
prime
realize
example
what
of
kind
it. You really
guy
know
he
how to
is.
make chemistry
Rudy
with
is
other
telling
people
you about
you
how
yap
Carol
with.
holds all-important
You really
items
think
in the
so?
house,
I
which
don't know.
has
Maybe
caused
maybe it's
problems.
just because I've been
There
getting more
was
practice
a
with
time
it,
when
but
Noelle
I
made
always feel
snowflakes
so
for Carol to
awkward
hang up at work, but she wanted to keep them in the
talking with
house,
other
and
people.
as a
But
result,
maybe I'm just being
Noelle
hypercritical
cried,
of
but making
myself.
snow angels with Chris made her feel better. There were more people there, but this piece of dialogue is highlighting their friendship. In the past, they could cheer each other up and were there for each other, making what we do now even more heartbreaking. If you talk to him again, he says that Noelle
You're
was
my favorite
asking under her
50
breath
plus
about if
streamer.
Chris would be going tomorrow. When they talk to Noelle, she asked to talk later. Most changes happen in the overworld.
Man, I got a pretty good voice for someone who's
Changes
50.
almost immediate. Every chapter leading up to Chapter 4, you had no idea what was going to happen when loading up your weird route save. If you knew Noelle was going to be in the chapter,
Man,
you
I'm
were
gonna have
likely
to make like
very
some sort of
curious.
like
After gathering information, normally
like point
Susie
redeem or
asked
like
Noelle
bit
to study
redeem
for a
thing
project
for
so you could look for clues. But here,
being like
she
overaged
initiates
or
it.
something
She
like that.
invites you and Susie first, asking the same thing. After saying she has to take her dad back to the hospital, Susie seems excited. To her, she gets to hang out with Noelle, her crush, and her best friend, along with trying to get a
Freaking
code
course
for
I
the
do.
bunker
Maybe it's
to
just
be a
because
hero
Vera's also
she
kind of
wants to be.
introverted
To
like
Chris,
you, but you
they're
guys have
scared,
genuinely the most
knowing that we are
entertaining
going to be
collabs
there. We
to
can
watch live
cause
of the year
permanent
2026.
damage. Look at what we've
Well, you know, it
already
does
done.
help to have
When Susie
interesting,
tries to give Chris a high five,
like
they
stuff
don't
to
respond at all. She wonders if
read
Chris has
about,
something
but
against Noelle.
I mean, to be
And
honest, we
what
do
she
go
says next
off
actually
topic
became
quite
the
a
reason why
bit.
people started calling it the weird route.
Oh,
At least I'm pretty
jeez.
sure this is why. Susie says that they should be glad it's going by so fast, but you could see a bit of doubt settle in. We know from Chapter 4 she would prefer if things went on forever. Hell, even in Chapter 5. So something feels off to her. She asks Chris if they want more of the red stuff, but Chris refuses. Very specific wording here. Before going to Noelle's house, we could check on Birdley. I won't describe everything, but there are some interesting details.
Birdley's
Checking on
dead?
Birdley reveals that he's cold, stuck in a comatose state. What's messed up is you can actually change the hot water bottle on his head and turn on the space heater. While a nice gesture, we are the ones who caused this. We ordered Noelle to freeze him in the dark world and deal a massive amount of damage. Helping him now isn't kindness, it's cruelty. What's even worse is we're making Chris do it. If he recovers, especially in an abandoned weird route, it would be interesting to see if he remembers what happened during Chapter 2, but I'll talk a little bit about the abandoned weird route later. Permanent damage is already done, but only gets worse when going to the holiday house. Everything proceeds as normal until you actually sit on the couch.
It's not
to
just the
discuss
encyclical
project.
streams, though.
Usually
Remember when
Noelle
you
gets
showed
a
us that
call from
Rousey
Birdley,
manual a
but
few parts
instead
ago, or the
it's
Peter
Carol.
Griffin death
Noelle
pose?
tells
I
her
guess,
that she took Dad
you know,
home and lies to her about
that
being
is a
the
good
only
point,
one at her house.
actually.
The game is already showing you the difference in her character. She's taking
I
action.
can't help it,
It's
though. I
small,
just,
but at
I
this
want a
point,
lore
you can
dump.
feel the
And
difference. Susie
I don't
points
know
out
why
the
I know
supplies,
what the
and
Peter
Noelle
Griffin death
suggests
pose
we go
is, but
look
I
for it in her
do.
room. Moving a little forward, Chris
We'll,
usually
we
tears out
should
their soul
do,
and hides it.
like a
However,
Deltarune
they
lore
are
stream
interrupted
here
midway through
soon.
and have to quickly hide it. She wants to
I
talk
think
to Chris in her room, just
I'm
the
gonna
two of them,
make
and
a
after she
video
goes in, Chris takes
about the
soul
theory
and
that
puts
I
it in
have about the
gift
Roaring
room,
Knight.
like usual. Chris goes
But
in
maybe
to
we'll do a
talk,
stream
and
about
of
it
course,
first,
we
so I
spy
can
on
kind
the
of like
conversation. Noelle has
collate
been
and
waiting for the
condense
two of them
my
to talk
thoughts on
ever
it, and then
since
I'll make a video
last night.
afterwards, I
Last night,
think.
I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, all I could see was
Give me all
I
the
was
lore.
terrified, Chris,
All the
terrified
interest
it
we
was
absorbed
all
and
real. I
appreciated.
went out to the porch to breathe, and that's when I felt it. I froze, and then I heard your voice, Chris's voice. When we spoke to her, there's a difference in how we talk, and no one else has noticed it or pointed it out. But here, in this moment, She heard the voice she needed to. Not the voice from her dream, but the voice that's able to ground her to her reality. It's here we find out that Chris went to Noelle on their own to apologize and about taking their watch, writing it off as a simple prank. Chris is trying to undo what we've done to her, reassuring her and saying that Beardley will get better. By using character traits they are known for, Chris can reassure Noelle.
Hey Dan,
in a way
how you
that makes
doing?
sense. They've always been a prankster. Chris is still doing.
We're being
Chris
sappy
things.
and
Noelle
watching
says
Deltarune
that
videos
even
and
if their voice
drawing.
was weak and shaky, it felt so long since she actually heard it. She was so happy Chris was back and that Chris hadn't changed. You get another chance to end this. Noelle could just go on believing that this was a prank. None of it was real. You can mend the broken bonds and move on with your normal adventure. But you clicked on this video, and you and I are in this together. Selecting proceed allows us to stay in the room, and we have a certain amount of time to possess Chris again. Chris will take her and run out of the room. Once again, another option to end it here. Noelle wants to ask about something else. After we possess Chris, there's an active struggle. She moves closer, mentioning how Chris grabbed her hand last night and pulled a thorn out, asking her to not mention they did any of this. Chris is using all of their strength to cover Noelle's mouth before she can speak, but she reassures them that it's just the two of them. Chris knows where this is leading and can explain to Noelle what's happening. Noelle holds Chris's twitching hand. She reveals that they said their conversation would get heard. Her mouth is covered once again. Noelle reassures Chris. It's just them in the room. Chris knows that if she asks the question, we will answer, changing everything. They seem to know how the game works. In this situation, if Noelle asks a question, we answer it. It allows us to go out of bounds, or reposition ourselves in a way that lets us answer. It's how we got into the room. Who is going to hear? We have to answer the question. Me. The whole room goes cold. The voice from Noelle's dream is...
Man, this scene is crazy, by the way.
She feels terrified. Her voice is shaky as she realizes that this isn't Chris anymore.
I'm sorry, but I can't unsee Noelle and a few other VTubers I follow in your OC and not in a bad way.
That the voice was the one
you think it looks like a Noelle?
We have to show her it wasn't. It wasn't a dream. She backs away, confused on how we...
I mean, I wasn't trying to do that, but it is possible.
And we tell her. She tries to talk to Chris, saying she didn't speak at all. She thinks it's just a coincidence, but once again, we have to prove to her it's us.
No, I don't
it's
like
not
that.
a coincidence.
Ew.
She tries to test us, asking us to do various things. Each time we do, except for the last request. She wants us to say it didn't snow,
the illustrated
but there's
Noelle?
not
Yeah,
a
I could
picture.
see it, yeah.
It happened. She wants to believe we're lying. Noelle becomes stronger. The noise from the weird route plays. She wants to believe she didn't hear that. We press equipped. We pull out the thorn. Snowflakes are spinning behind them. The word we've waited for appears. Proceed. We inch closer. Noelle is trembling. She recognizes what this is. Proceed. We inch closer. Noelle mentions last night, confused on why they would say all that. They promised to protect her. Proceed. She can't move. She can't look away. She wants to do something, but she's paralyzed. She holds up her hand. She's panicking as she cycles through words. Then we equip the thorn ring to her. She pauses, weakly saying the name of her friend. An animation plays that shatters part
Man,
of the
we're
screen.
definitely doing a weird
Noelle's
route run.
innocence and ignorance have been ripped away. Cold reality has taken over. There's no room
It's just
for
too.
doubt
It's
anymore.
too. It's
Chris,
written
while
too
trying
good
to help
to
her,
not play
may
it. You
have
know.
further contributed to her breaking point due to how cruel we are. When Chris tried to fix things, we
Am I
came
right
in
in assuming that in the
everything
weird
seem
route,
like
the
a
player takes the
lie.
place of
Before,
past save
she was
Chris? Because this scene
traumatized,
makes it
but she
seem
could
like the
live on
previous Chris
knowing
has
it
less
was a
bearing
dream. But
than in
every
the normal
action we
route.
made her do was real. Everything Chris said was a lie. Our voice speaks
I
through them.
think
There was room for doubt.
in
But
the
when we
weird
spoke,
route, it like
especially in the
you're not
overworld,
wrong.
It made her realize.
I think
her
it's
world
like
was shattered. It made
in
her
the weird
remember.
route, we
And
as the
made it
player
to
are
where
just
she
taking
couldn't
more
forget.
agency
The
over
thorn
Chris.
took out, we
It's
put
like
back
with
in.
you know
And as
that
a
fight
result
that
of
we
this,
did
Chris
the
rightfully
Kissy Mew
lashes
Mew
out.
fight or a
Beyond this
cutie Mew
point,
Mew
you
fight where
permanently
she's like,
cause damage to a
she
friend they
like
have known their whole
Mew Mew
life.
is like the ghost, but then also the body. Like they each have their separate wills. I think in the weird route, we're just like way more just overt, just like erasing what Chris wants, and it's like way more obvious, and like we know it as the player, and we're doing it
The only thing that
anyways.
stops
You
them
know,
is Asgore. He thought Chris wasn't feeling well and wanted to check on them. Nothing else in this game causes this much of a violent reaction from Chris. Each kick is pure rage. Even if they know it will hurt them, as we see when they place the soul back inside themselves, they're willing to do it. Chris is weak afterwards, but is able to stand. Asgore and Susie wait outside for you.
just
You
how
don't get to
strong
see
is
any
Chris,
interaction with
anyways?
Carol. Asgore suggests that Chris go straight home if they aren't feeling well, and gives them a hot chocolate to hopefully cheer them up. Asgore leaves, and you and Susie follow behind. Susie stopping to say that while Chris was keeping Noelle busy, she found a code to the shelter, but couldn't write it down in time. She doesn't know how they're going to be able to go back, but after what happened, Chris probably doesn't want to. As we go to the church, Susie is disappointed that they didn't get to really hang out. She notices that when Noelle wanted to talk to you, her look was kind of weird. Susie wants to know why Noelle couldn't just talk to you in front of her. The screen freezes. A pink tint covers the screen. We don't get to select what Chris says here. Susie makes a joke, but Chris's expression says it all, causing her to not want to bring it up again.
Basically,
Everything about
Toby
this
made
sequence
us the
is
potential
genuinely
reflection of who
haunting.
Chris was
From
before the
now
normal
on,
route
you're
began.
committed.
He is
Nothing you
basically
do will
kind
fix
of
the
like
damage
Flowery
you've done.
from Undertale
The
in
game
that way.
presented you with so many options.
I
Ways
kind
to
of think
abandon
so,
it, yet
yeah.
you persisted. There's a few things from now on that
I
happen.
almost
Some
wonder if
interactions
like
with Chris reveal
Deltarune
that he
is
can
like
tell something is
a
bothering you based on
prequel to
dialogue, which, by the
Undertale,
way,
and
Carson
that
is
like
my favorite character in
Flowery
Deltarune,
is
and the
just
fact
like
that he knows
a
something is up
mirroring
really
of
speaks to
what
his
like the
insight.
player
Carson
character
tries to give
did
you hope
in
the few times
Deltarune.
you run into him,
You know what I
alluding to
mean?
the fact that in the end it might end happily to keep living no matter what you face. If we move forward to the tea scene, Gerson will tell you to close your eyes. If you refuse the
Fan
tea,
art done.
he'll
Oh
place
my
an apple
gosh.
in front of you. Usually you eat the apple normally, but in
All
the
right,
weird
I
route,
love this.
as you
This
bite
is
into
too
the
cute.
apple, you continue to eat it. At first, it's nice.
All right, let's see
so
if I
you
can
keep
pull this
going.
up. Hang on, let me
The crunching gets
see.
faster. Rouse warns you that you're getting to the core, but you don't stop. Your teeth cracks into the core. It's bitter. Nothing is left. Some people might just view this as Chris eating an apple really quickly, but I do think it symbolizes something. It represents using something until there's nothing left. Flesh being torn from the outside to expose what's within. Continuing forward,
Alright, let's
when
see
Susie
here.
goes off on
Add
her own,
image.
normally we close our eyes and think of what
Image.
she's doing. But here, we tell
Mm,
Rouse it's
goober.
unnecessary. He asks us to think of someone else then, and we get another option. In the normal route, we could say, think of the knight. But there's a weird route exclusive. Think of Noelle. The red dot, the one that shattered earlier, appears. In a shaky voice, it says, "Thank you." Previously, we had no
it's so big.
idea why she would say this, but given the
Whoops.
context in Chapter 5, we do. I think at this point, she knows we're watching. She's not talking to anyone else but us.
Alright, there we go.
She's thanking
I'll
us
put
for
it-
teaching her how to be something else. But
Hey,
we'll
I'll put
come
it up
back
here.
to that
There we
in
go.
Chapter 5.
I love it.
Susie sees Chris.
I love
They
it.
seem to be standing there with their eyes closed, and they started to breathe.
Yeah, the
in.
horns look really
Rouse comes
good.
Back, and that's that. There are a few small things.
Did
from
you
this point
did you
on that
mirror
you could
the
say,
drawing? Because they
but
look
I'm
pretty
gonna skip ahead
symmetrical.
to
That's
the
crazy.
Rouse moment I was mentioning earlier. The moment I realized that he knows more but can't say anything. In the normal route, as Chris and Rouse embrace, Rouse has a turning point in his character, saying that he wants to believe that things can change, that there is more than one ending. Until fate is seen with their own eyes, they want to believe it will be
This is the
different
fourth one today,
alongside
lol.
Chris. However, in the weird route, what he says changes. If there was
Oops.
something
Hang
else,
on, there we go.
what would it be? And how do we know it wouldn't be something even worse? Chris, never mind. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Why would this dialogue change here if he didn't know anything? Rouse somehow has a way of knowing what's happening. though he's bound to a rule that won't let him reveal
Hang on, the dialogue is
anything
so
else.
much different
Even
for
he doesn't fully know what will happen if you
chapter
proceed. Towards the
4
end of the chapter,
in the
Chris
weird route.
receives a phone
What?
call, this time laying in bed as opposed to climbing out the window. It's presumably Carol. She's called to tell us that Noelle is looking forward to seeing us tomorrow. Yet another reminder of what we've done. As it fades to black, we see it. The red dot. And for a whole year, this was all we had. What was going to happen at the festival when we see Noelle? And the result is something no one could have predicted. It's the shortest Weird Route chapter, but it's just as impactful as chapter 4 and deeply depressing. It sparked so many discussions.
Why would Deltarune be a prequel? Wouldn't it make more sense to be a sequel due to the state of monster-human relations? I think that's what the game is trying to trick us into thinking. But if you think about it, we don't actually
chapter 5 is the most recent chapter
really know what human/monster relations are in Deltarune.
Weird Route.
Oh, he is going to talk about chapter 5. Cool. Okay. Are you feeling better? I am. Yes, I am. It's crazy how much better I'm feeling.
About the actions of yesterday.
I really do appreciate it. That's actually crazy.
Concerned about them, noting they haven't eaten all day. She made honey toast for you, which normally you get honey toast for her in the morning. She thinks that this is about their brother, oblivious to the many different things happening. She also says, no one can make you get out of bed. And right after she leaves, we force Chris out of bed. With all of their strength, they try to resist us. Like they're trying to stop anything else from happening. But
get loved and cherished, amazing sister you.
Everything you interact
get
with
loved on, nerd.
Xbox is Blink.
You're stuck with us.
The game is starting to break. Or Chris actively lets you see everything, and here they're hiding it from you. I'm choosing to believe it's Chris refusing to show us, as narratively that's pretty compelling, though the other option would make sense too. As we leave the room, Chris is twitching, moving incredibly slow through the house. When they leave, Susie is waiting for us. She makes a joke about them sleeping through the festival, but then says that Noelle is waiting for them at the beach. It's a very brief interaction, but as you go to leave, Susie stops you. She wants to check out what's left of the festival with Chris, despite seeing everything with Noelle already. So before seeing Noelle, you get to hang out with Susie, for what may be the last time on this route. There's a lot of flavor text throughout the town as Susie tells you what she experienced with Noelle, and the last bit of wholesomeness you get. The theme for the festival is slowed down. A melancholic vibe takes over as you live vicariously through Susie. If you try to go to Noelle's house, Susie will say that they are deciding king and queen. This is such a hard contrast to what normally happens. You explore the festival, go on an adventure. Sure, it's dangerous, but each of the party members grows stronger or learn something. It's a wild adventure, and here...
Looks like a cinnamon roll. Is a cinnamon roll.
Now you're with your friend as you explore...
Is friend-shaped and is friend.
Going to the voting box, Susie mentioned she went there with Noelle and voted for the two of them. Noelle seemed eager to get her voted.
We're gonna do a folder, and I'm going to...
I won't go over every dialogue option, as I don't want to bog down the pace of this video more than I probably have. But I will highlight all the key moments involving Noelle and the impact it has on Susie. While Noelle is the centerpiece of it all, we still have an overall impact on Chris's friends and themselves. Susie can feel that something is wrong, but has complete trust in Chris, the first friend she's ever had that accepted her. The adventures they went on mean everything to her. When you go to the Ferris wheel, she talks about how her and Noelle rode it, and instead of being shy, Noelle rested her head on Susie's shoulder. She was calm the whole time, while Susie's heart was racing. She then offers to ride with you, and you actually get the option to. If you do, there's a genuinely nice moment with the two of them. Susie shakes the Ferris wheel pretending there's an earthquake, and it makes Chris laugh.
You guys are too nice. I swear. You're gonna give me a fat head is what you're gonna do.
Susie puts Chris in a headlock. Chris pretends to snore.
Hey Kat, how you doing?
What am I to you guys, a big pillow? And Chris
Youper has to officially play Sonic 06. He hasn't played it yet?
Even without us,
wow, that's just a gimme at this point, honestly.
Early on, we learn that Susie is troubled. living a very hard life. But
We're
here,
gonna
you get
put
to see
all
her
of the
for what she
hair
really is,
into
a
this
kind
folder.
person who just wants to cheer up a friend. Even for just a moment, Chris gets to be happy. The next interaction has caused a lot of discussion online, and it always leads back to this damn skeleton. I was really happy to see Sans in this chapter, if only briefly. This interaction reveals that Susie has drawn her friends and herself on a punch card and gives it to him, and he also gives you bread. He tells you to come back later because there isn't any ice cream right now. After this, you're free to go to the beach, but there are a few things you could do. But just this one interaction with him caused a ton of discussion online. For starters, a lot of people are confident that the card Susie gives Sans
So did you see with the friend earlier, and she said that when she dreamt she was in My Hero Academia,
were 3 people you don't recognize. Now,
and her quirk was she could control emotions and either increase or decrease someone's power level, and I said that's a villain power.
It's unclear which one it's referring to.
Yeah, that's a villain power.
That the weird route is what causes Sans's transition to Undertale, and that's the one he takes with him. But until the next chapters, we won't really know. But this wacky skeleton
Vivi would crash out if she played Sonic 06, probably. I'm gonna be honest, I played it a little bit in middle school, and I had a terrible time playing it.
The next significant part is if you take Susie to school. You can find a dollar coin on the ground, and what she reveals is concerning. So, Noelle, she did something kind of funny earlier. I said I didn't have any cash for food, and she took a roll of bills, probably like hundreds of dollars, and just held it to me, smiling. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen that much money. I didn't take it. I said something cheesy like, you could buy 100 grape sodas with that. I don't know why, it just felt so weird. If you had $5, I'd expect you to buy me stuff. But I guess same back if I had $5 too. This particular moment reflects that of someone who has given up. In Noelle's case, she knows that later it will be pointless to have all the money she has. Her action was already decided. And at the moment, it doesn't make sense. But it will. She's smiling, happier than usual, despite her hardships. And she's giving away money like it doesn't matter. This is the mindset of someone who has given up. If you walk to the school door, Susie reveals that she talked to Rouse earlier, who was apparently acting weird, seemingly worried about you. Once again, I'm made to believe that Rouse knows more and can't do anything about it. When Susie asks
but
about
no,
if
serious,
she can
you really
help,
mean a lot to me, Maywin. Your streams have brought comfort when I needed it. Our friendship has brought healing. Much love, sister.
Going to the church,
I really appreciate that. I'm really glad that I can bring at least a little bit of happiness and joy and friendship in the world today, considering how things are these days, especially online.
Noelle
It's
in the side A route gets a call telling her that
it's really heartwarming to hear that.
And she has to run and check on him, leading to the dark world of chapter 5. But we get to see him fixing lights here. Rudy can still be the knight, guys. Trust.
Rudy is not the knight. No, he's not. Rudy is not the knight.
Banned from here. Susie stuck her hand in the grape eyeball thing, and Noelle held her hand inside of it.
Imagine trying to be wholesome.
This shows that she's taking initiative, which
couldn't be me.
For her outside of this route.
Well, you know, to be fair, I did have a little bit of a drink. I get a little sappy and a little warm-hearted, and
Susie talks to you. She tells us she's going to
and sentimental when I drink.
Opens up to us before she does.
Just a little bit, not too much.
Even when it was basically over. Noelle and her may have gotten close, but she wants Chris to know that they are a big deal to her too. Susie is trying to cheer Chris up. I mean,
so
it's pretty obvious that they're miserable.
Here,
I'm really curious to see what ends up happening and if Susie gets a chance to react. I think a Susie boss fight would be very cool, though I don't personally see it happening. As Susie leaves, we have to face what we've done.
That sounds like me for real, for real.
For us. If you haven't seen this game, I'd really recommend either watching it or playing it. I don't think I could ever recreate the impact that this scene has. Noelle is standing there, staring at what lies on the other side of the lake. The first
We're
dialogue
definitely
we get
playing a
from
weird
her
route run,
isn't
by the way.
words, it's thoughts. She knows we can hear them. Chris, I know. I know you wanted to deny it. I did too, at first. But eventually, we're gonna have to face the truth. Everything around them goes darker, focusing on the two of them. Noelle goes on to talk about yesterday, the events of Chapter 4. She was terrified at that moment. Every cell told her to run. If she stayed by Chris's side any longer, Noelle would be dragged down with them, dragged down to where no one was supposed to go. Though this thought wasn't scary for that fact, it horrified her to learn that she wanted that. She goes on to explain that ever since Des left, all she's been doing is just going through life, not living, just going through the motions. She's been watching herself through glass. Which I'd like to point out something with this dialogue. Noelle compares this to watching her life through glass, whereas the normal route we get to see the flowers, who are encapsulated in glass, watching Asgore. I just find it interesting how we see two very different perspectives.
Oh.
She feels as though someone else
Oh, I didn't
has
even
been
catch
moving
that.
through life, which is interesting saying this to Chris. She wants to do something.
Oh my
crazy,
gosh, I just
break free
realized
of the cycle
something.
she's
Noelle's
put on.
color is the same
But
as
she
Flowey's.
couldn't. She's just Noelle. A Noelle that has to do Noelle things. Just like how Chris has to do Chris things. But Chris, you changed. Chris, you actually changed. You found out how to stop being Chris. The further her words go, the harder it is to watch. Chris's friend from childhood is standing here, broken. Even though she's hurt, it's still awful. She's telling them that they are only more interesting because they changed. She thinks that they'll just keep blindly marching through life,
Alright,
not
let's
thinking
see
about
here.
what's ahead. She holds resentment for this town where nothing changes, where she can't change. But being by Chris, she feels like she's able to. Noelle tells Chris that when she casted Snowgrave, it was the strongest she ever felt. She falls to her knees. She does feel guilty for saying it, but she knows it's true. Because of the strength, she knows that as long as Chris is telling her to, she can do anything. Things no one else can do. Why don't we do something crazy? She wants Chris to tell her to grow
You guys are
wings and
funny.
fly so she can leave this town. Leave every problem she's had behind and escape to where no one has gone before. She looks back at the other side of the lake. That's their destination. Chris and her have always wanted to know what's on the other side. The four of them wanted to know what it was like as kids. Before, she was confused by the word we repeated, but now we don't have the choice. She knows exactly what it does. She wants to hear it. Hear the word that changed her. With it, she can do anything. She takes your hands and moves closer to the lake. If you say stop here, she continues forward. Every step is harder than the last. If you keep resisting,
Make a
she
goober,
eventually
the goober
ignores you,
PNG for a
and
point
you only
redeem.
get the option of
That is true,
proceed.
actually.
Every time you hit the button, you
Might
get a
make it
familiar sound.
transparent.
As you descend deeper, she tells you to not let go of her hands, to keep walking, to not hesitate. Keep walking. As the water rises to their necks, Noelle keeps speaking. She knows that Chris can hear her, and even when they are submerged in water, she keeps talking. We start to take damage, but she tells us to keep going. The screen turns white.
I'm sorry,
You only have
Sonic
a certain
06 was
amount
your
of
first
time.
Sonic
You
game?
have to keep hitting
You're kidding,
proceed
right?
over and over. Noelle's words are
Y-
barely
Like, you must be,
visible.
right? Like, that's
But
a
if
joke?
she keeps prompting you, you can keep
Oh,
going
no.
and
Oh,
going.
Lord, no.
The screen goes completely white.
Ah,
All you can
man.
see is your heart continuously
You enjoyed it.
choosing an option you can't see until it cuts to black.
I mean,
Text starts to form on the screen.
it's not
Insert
terrible,
Chapter 7.
but man,
Side
for a
B.
first Sonic game,
Then
that's
your save gets
wild.
deleted, at least at first glance. A file is created on your computer saying Route Side B, permanently saving what you've done, and that is the entirety of the Side B route currently. Deltarune has horror built into it. even during the normal route. Here, it's the highlight. It feels like you're playing a different game by Chapter 5. It's a psychological horror as you force someone to change, manipulate them, taking someone who is vulnerable.
I don't see why people hate it. It looks cool.
Path,
so Sonic 06 is one of those games where it has just enough bugs in it that it doesn't like seriously impact how you play it, but they're like super obvious and easy to find, so it like makes it easy to make fun of the game.
She doesn't know what's
beyond It's not actually that bad. It's just kind of a slog sometimes, if that makes sense.
It makes you fear your decisions
compared to other Sonic games.
So many chances to leave it behind until eventually it's
a little rough.
Though there is a way to stop this from happening. If you don't press anything when the screen goes white, you get different dialogue and things reset in Chapter 5. It's speculated that there is another path that you could take called the aborted weird route. But, and I know this may be disappointing to some of you, I'm not going to talk about it in this video. It's already long enough.
Sword route, baby. We're doing the sword route. That's what we're doing.
It does have some pretty interesting narrative things. I will, however, briefly look at some popular theories and speculate which ones I think are most likely. I'll have a link to their respective videos.
I freaking swear people may see me as a sap and cringe for this, but I genuinely... No, chat's moving too fast. Hang on.
So, let's start with...
Genuinely cannot think of a more impactful virtue than friendship. Connection is genuinely one of God's greatest gifts, and you guys in your communities are some of the best examples of that. I'm sorry if I ever go overboard, but I just can't stop expressing how thankful I am that I have all the people that I do.
It really is. That Route Side B
it really is amazing, isn't it?
To the Roaring Night. When like, Chris and Noelle go further into
it's crazy
the lake,
just how much
due to the game breaking, they fuse
it
together.
hurts to be alone.
With Chris and Noelle's
to not
determination, they
like how
and
even without knowing friendship, how empty you can sometimes feel without it.
Firstly, the night
and after experiencing it, it's just like a whole another world.
Their weapon can change shape, and Chris is the only one we know to do this aside from the Knight. The Knight's scream is similar to that of Noelle's. These are just some of the smaller points. There are a lot more things that add up. However, I don't believe that this theory is right.
Hang on,
Why?
he's talking about the... Wait,
well,
okay, hang on a second.
It would start a paradox, wouldn't it?
Okay, I gotta roll this back a little bit. I wasn't paying attention.
Path. One...
Right, here we go.
Okay, alright,
this is important.
And speculate which ones I think are most likely. I'll have a link to their respective videos, as I will only talk about them a little bit to introduce what they could do for narrative purposes. So, let's start with... I saw the video by J.R. Vanity when it came out, and this theory really intrigued me at first. I want to say that they actually bring up a lot of good points that make this theory very believable. The theory suggests that Route Side B will give an origin story to the Roaring Night. When Chris and Noelle go further into the lake,
now that you say it, Deltarune being a prequel does make more sense now.
With Chris and Noelle's newfound determination, they reset the
Since
timeline
Chris
and
is the only human in town, we never get their origin, and it's a town full of monsters. Do you think maybe segregation was the last peaceful option before either war, or they were found to be too dangerous for the surface world?
And Chris is the only one we know to do this aside from the Knight.
I think so.
The Knight's scream is similar to that of Noelle's. These are just some of the smaller points. There are a lot more things.
I have a feeling that, like, the reation why humans are so few and far between is because...
Why?
Okay, hang on. I gotta pause this for a second. Also, we have to go back again. So, there's a really interesting thing about humans in the Undertale and Deltarune universe, right? Humans have a very specific and special ability that monsters do not have, right? Monsters have magic. That's really obvious. Like, that's just what they have, right? But humans have the ability to reset things. They have the ability to use, like, saves and whatnot. I didn't notice this the first time that I played Undertale, because, like, how could you? But in Undertale, there are multiple times that monsters in the game mention this fact. And not only do they mention this fact, they mention it about the other souls that came down into the underground. Flowey mentions it even. He says that whatever you want to call what is it, Frisk is what the fan base calls the character you play as in Undertale. Flowey says that Frisk will be continue to die, and it'll keep on resetting, and it'll keep on happening until you lose the will to live. You lose your determination. That's because it's it's a pun. It's a play on words, right? Determination. You're undoing being terminated. It's like a double entendre. Toby Fox loves them. But all of the Undertale gives us very specific lore that humans in particular have the ability to reset until they don't, until they give up. And when they give up, they're gone. Their souls it's almost as if their souls remain and then their bodies just disintegrate, because that's what we see in Undertale. Only their souls are left afterwards. So that basically implies that Asgore basically just kept on killing the humans until they gave up, and he says as much basically during his fight, or right before his fight, I think. And even Toriel brings something up. She mentions that she feels like she's met you before, that she's met you a bunch of different times, right? And you think it's her talking about the other souls, but she knows about the other souls, so she's not talking about that. She gets the impression that she's met you before because you've loaded your saves before, you know? So basically humans in Undertale are Buddhist. Yeah, if you were gonna describe it in a religious sense like that, then yeah, it's they just have the ability to save. That's what humans have. And I think Flowey, Kara, yes, but according to the game, Kara is the true name. Right. I always get them mixed up and whatnot. So Flowey, I'm sorry, there's no R. Flowey is a very special character in Undertale. He has very specific abilities. He has magic. He has... No, wait a second. Flowey doesn't have any magic, does he? Until he turns back into Asriel, right? You've been saying Flowey this whole time. Yeah, I know. They are different. But so Flowey is really interesting as a character, right? He's one of the most important characters in Undertale because he is a combination of Asriel and Kara. So the whole lore is Kara and Asriel were brothers, right? Kara's adopted, an adopted human. And this was before, I think Kara was the first human that fell in to the underground, right? So instead of trying to get out, the Dreamer family adopted the human and just had Kara as a family member, right? So Kara and Asriel were really good friends. They were siblings. They grew up together, right? And Asriel got really sick, and then they soul fused somehow. There's a part of the prophecy in Undertale that Gearson talks about, says that if a human and a monster soul combine, they create this weapon. They create something so powerful that it can destroy the whole world, right? So this happens, and Kara and Asriel combined are able to leave the underground through the barrier, right? And when they get to the other side, they find a human settlement, And if I remember correctly, I think I'm having a hard time remembering because there's so much in Undertale. So like the human settlement gets destroyed, and in the aftermath, like one of them dies. No, that's not right either. Shoot, now I can't remember. It's too late. So Flowery is basically a bioweapon? Yes. Like, actually. Like, yes. Now, I don't know if this will blow your mind or not.
Start a paradox, wouldn't it? The night has to exist in order for the story to...
I don't know if this will blow your mind or not, but I'm almost 100% convinced at this point that the underground in Undertale is just a dark world. Like, it's just a dark world. And the barrier is just a dark fountain that they have to close, that they can't. It seems like Chris's body in Deltarune is a monster body, and his soul is a human soul, which is reflected in Undertale with like if you have the monster and the human, you can go through the barrier and leave, which is what we see in Undertale or in Deltarune, right?
Proceed. So if you don't do the weird route,
I swear to gosh. Okay, there we go. But at this point, I'm fairly convinced that the underground in Undertale is just a dark fountain. Deltarune is a prequel to Undertale's weird route, or maybe even the sword route, the third route that people kind of think is a thing, and that there may, in fact, actually be a third game. Maybe not like a physical third game. I don't think Toby Fox is working on a third game or anything like that. But it is kind of implied that there was an original game that Deltarune Deltarune was modified in some way, within the game's story, if that makes sense. It's really hard to explain, but in chapter 3, Tenna has a game, right, that he modifies into the TV game, right? And we learn that the original game was, well, we don't know what it's called, but we think it's called the Mantle game, and that's the one that we play, the NES version, right? I get it. Deltarune was changed mid-development. I think not actually, not in our in the real world, right? But within the game's story, yes. It's what's that one word? It's diegetic, if that makes... Is that the right word I'm thinking of? Let's see. Am I thinking of the right word there? I spelled it wrong. Diegetic is a term for narratology in film theory describing elements that exist within the fictional world of a story and are perceivable by the characters. That is the word I'm thinking of, yes. So it's within the game of Deltarune, it was modified, and some of the characters seem to know that. Tenna seems to know that. And in chapter 3, we actually get a ton of lore in chapter 3 about this. A lot of the characters in chapter 3 talk about the fact that that the world used to be different and that it was changed, and that they were just built on top of it. And it's I don't know. It's really hard to explain because Deltarune has the surface level game to it, right? Where it's it's related to Undertale, and it's made by Toby Fox, and there's a lot of really fun humor, and Sans is there, and Papyrus is missing, and Undyne, and Alphys is there, and Noelle, and like all of this stuff, right? And Asriel's missing, or like at college, right? So it's like a surface level, it's like a video game, right? But then there's like a bunch of weird stuff like underneath, like Spamton talking to some like mystery guy that can change how the game works. And then you have Gaster, who may or may not be the in-game like developer, like in-universe developer of this game. And then you have like the Weird Route and like Noelle talking about like exploiting the game. Like Noelle literally talks about breaking out of bounds. Like she's boundary breaking, like as if she was a player of the game. Like she's talking about breaking out of the boundaries of the game and breaking the rules and like getting out into the out of the boundaries of the game that they're in. The game world was originally Undertale Part 2, but somehow, due to forces incomprehensible, the game was flipped, probably because the story being told was continuing a game that had perfect endings no matter the route, but the creator of the world still wanted their creations to live, so they made Deltarune an original story? Huh. You know? I don't think you're... I think you might be right about that. So, weird thing, in Undertale, right, there's that secret area that you can get to, the secret laboratory, right, which is where we get a lot of the information about Gaster, and we get some lore from these weird things called the Goner Kids. They're the black and white, like, monochrome things, right? So in Undertale, the lore is Gaster was working on an experiment, right? And in this experiment, he was like, it's kind of implied that he was trying to figure out how to keep monsters alive. He did experiments with like determination and figured out that like monsters just like disintegrate if they have too much determination. So if we go back to what I said earlier about like determination and being able to reset and save is like a human skill, right? Gaster's experiment was trying to give that to monsters so that they... I think you're onto something here, because it's like Gaster messed around with something, and he's like trying to make like saves for monsters, like save slots, I guess you could say, and like give them the ability to do that. And like in doing so, he like destroyed himself, but like he's still around. Like he's the game now. Like Gaster is just the game. Like he sees everything, he knows everything, he can hear everything, right? Like there's a character in Undertale that just says that almost outright. So it's like, oh, my brain hurts now. A laboratory that isn't even in most playthroughs, so the creator obviously wanted to dangle it, but not outright give us Gaster's lab because they knew we'd understand things above our station as the player and Kara both. I think so, yeah. If I'm being completely honest, I honestly think that this is why Toby Fox is taking so long to release the game. I cannot believe in a million years that Deltarune takes this long to develop. I think that Toby Fox is releasing each chapter individually like this on purpose, to give us time to, like, think about things. You know what I mean? Because if the game had just come out all at once, no one would have theories like this. Like, we wouldn't have, like, the jokes and, like, all of, like, the creative work around Deltarune and, like, all of the, like, artwork and, like, fan games and, like, super weird theories about everything. I honestly think he's doing it on purpose. And I don't think it's like a Gooseworks thing that he's like just trying to get his fans to like write stuff for him and then like trying to bounce out ideas off of fans and like see what works, right? Because like chapter 5 is directly referenced in chapter 3. Like there's multiple things in chapter 3 that happen in chapter 5. So like it's very obvious that Toby Fox has written pretty much, like, it seems like almost all of the story like before even starting the game. So it's like he's not like there's no question as to where this is going. We just don't know where it's going as fans, you know. So we can be the Neo to his Matrix. It's interesting you say that. I think so. What's really interesting is Spamton, the little salesman freak that we fight in chapter 2. His robot form is literally called Neo Spamton, and he talks about breaking out of the game and breaking his puppet strings and leaving to go into the real world. Like, I it's just a Matrix reference, dude. All right, but hang on. I was actually trying to listen to something. So yeah, we get into these tangents, and I just go on and on about Deltarune lore, and okay, one more time.
Came out, and this theory really intrigued me at first. I want to say that they actually bring up a lot.
And the Queen's whole aesthetic is inspired by the agents, and her city is literally the one from the Matrix. You know? I think we might be onto something, honestly. Like, we might... The Matrix. Deltarune Matrix theory. I'm just gonna do a shitpost video on this, dude. I don't think I've seen anyone bring this up. So it'd be, like, super... super unique. That would be really funny. No, don't crack post, make it legit. But I gotta get it out. I gotta get it out there before someone else does. Okay, alright. I guess we're making 2 Deltarune videos then. Alright. I wanted to, listen back to this part because he's talking about some theories about the Roaring Knight in particular that I don't know. I'm hearing some new information here, and I have a very specific theory about the Roaring Knight. And this is why I said your yaps are one of my favorite parts of your streams. I don't know, sometimes I get self-conscious because I keep on rambling and I'm just like, does anyone actually know what the heck I'm talking about? Alright.
A lot of good points that make this theory very believable. The theory suggests that Route Side B will give an origin story to the Roaring Knight.
Okay,
when
probably.
Chris and Noelle go further into the lake, due to the game breaking, they fuse together. With Chris and Noelle's
I don't think
newfound
they fuse
determination,
together.
they reset the timeline and create a loop. There are a few details that have really convinced people. Firstly, the Knight has very similar poses to Chris.
Okay, so I'm just gonna dump a little bit right here. I don't think the Roaring Knight is a fusion between Chris and Noelle. I think that Toby Fox maybe wanted people to think that. But I'm fairly certain that the Roaring Knight is just Chris's bullet pattern. Chris is a lot more powerful than he lets on. He pulls his punches, and we know he's able to because he does so with the Knight. I just realized something about the drowning. It almost has a brown scale RGB, like television's used to, minus the colors. Yeah, and then after the route finishes, or after you finish chapter 5 on the weird route, it goes, like, it pulls out. Like it's almost like the camera in the game, like, pulls out to, like, a staticky TV screen, and it shows, like, insert, the next disc, essentially. But yeah, these sprites, like, it always confused me, because it's like everyone said, like, the Roaring Knight is Des, or it's Rudy Holiday, or it's Carol, or maybe it's Noelle. But, like, you see everything, and it's just like, it's obviously, like, Chris. I mean, like, look at him. Like, especially this one right here. Like, this right here. With the Roaring Knight, when it screams, it has a rib cage. And there's an eye in the center of it, right? Well, what is the... Oh, dude! Okay, so the prophecy in chapter 4 says, it has one of the prophecy things, says, the cage with human parts, right? Oh, what does it actually say? Shoot, I'm not gonna be able to remember what it actually said, right? But it shows us cage with human parts, right? And I always assumed it was talking about Chris, but I don't think it is. I think it might be talking about the Knight. I mean, Chris is obviously holding on to the human soul, so it might also be that, but, like, the Roaring Knight is just Chris. Like, it's just Chris, but, like, it's his bullet pattern. Like, in chapter 5, like, it goes on and on about how bullet patterns work. Like Aqua creates a couple of bullet patterns, and they're able to act independently of her. And it's the same with Seth. It's the same with Orange. It's the same with Blue. It's the same with Yellow. It's the same with Flowery. Like, for whatever reason, the flowers that keep on trying to tell us they're human, even though they're obviously not, can create bullet patterns that look a specific way and act a specific way. And they look extremely similar to the Roaring Knight. Like, they've got, like, a specific... Like, they have an outline and a solid color. Like, that's just what they look like. They're monochrome. They're copies. Like, the game is literally telling us, like, this is how it works. I thought the Knight would just be armor or some kind of construct. Why do you think it's flesh? I don't think it's flesh. It's not flesh. I don't know what the bullet patterns are made out of. Maybe it's like pure energy, but they can do stuff in the world. They can interact with stuff. They can touch stuff and break stuff and hurt stuff, which is what the Knight does. And if you think about it, like, what does Chris do? What is Chris's abilities in the game so far, right? He's able to change his form. Like, he can change his costumes constantly, right? He's got the knife, and he can open dark fountains. What does the Knight do? It opens dark fountains, and it changes its form constantly. Like, and it's also black. Like the knife that Chris has, like, over the chapters, it gets darker and darker. Like, it's a blackened knife. I thought you said the human parts were of the Roaring Knight, which meant flesh. I think it's more... I think the prophecy is trying to, like, hint at... so... I think that part of the prophecy is talking about Chris, but I think that the design for the Roaring Knight is trying to, like, hint at that. You know what I mean? Like Chris is what he is. Like he's a specific thing that can do specific things, right? And the knight just so happens to be able to do those same exact things and has designs that looks very similar. You know what I mean? I'm fairly certain the knight is the bullet pattern of Chris, which is why they seem to be like working together. You know what I mean? So basically, Chris is man and the Roaring Knight is machine. How do you mean? I don't know what you mean.
Their weapon can change shape, and Chris is the only one we know to do this aside from the knight. The knight's scream is similar to that of Noelle's. These are just some of the smaller points. There are a lot more things that add up. However, I don't believe that this theory is right. Why? Well, I believe it would start a paradox, wouldn't it? The knight has to exist in order for the story to proceed. So if you don't do the weird route, the knight doesn't exist. Unless the weird route was first, but they make an appearance before the game starts. It would make sense if the knight was established further along, but the knight was starting stuff beforehand. Even if it didn't cause a paradox, narratively, I don't think that it works. Would Chris truly serve themselves? Why kidnap everyone and take them to the bunker? I mean, they can't just be sitting there frozen, right? We also don't know if resets exist in the Deltarune world, or how determination fully works. I do think this would make for a great alternate universe story. I mean, imagine Susie seeing this thing at the end. But as a canonical thing, I just think that the payoff isn't as strong as some of the other candidates, and I don't think it aligns with...
Chris is the organic living parts, and the knight is a protector for Chris and has their bullet pattern, but isn't properly alive and exists with only one function, which it doesn't deviate from. Yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a pretty good way of putting it. I'm fairly certain that that's what's happening. Because it's like, the entire game, Chris has been very obvious about not wanting us, the player, to get, or Susie, to get the codes to the shelter, which we know is where the knight is hiding. So, like, I don't know why that's the case, but, like, it's pretty obvious that that's what's happening, you know?
With the logic of Deltarune. However, as with any theory, please be respectful and allow people to believe what they want. Theory crafting is part of the magic of being an Undertale/Deltarune fan. You're able to disagree with me, but I just don't see it happening.
Stop it.
My personal belief is within the...
Sorry.
This theory suggests that Chris and Noelle are passing through the barrier of the game, descending deep into the depths. You're skipping an entire chapter to go where no one has gone before. It's not here because it hasn't been made yet. We clicked out of bounds and there's nothing to show yet. This follows the device theory, which says that Deltarune has multiple realities it's tied to. The Dark Worlds are their own realities, placed inside of the Light World. The Light Worlds are put into the Deltarune program, all put...
Must sleep. Have a good night, Maywin, and thank you for your fellowship and friendship. Much love. You have a good night, Fleischer. I really appreciate you coming out and hanging out. I might actually be heading to bed myself soon here. I'm really... Now I'm actually tired, so... but you have a good rest of your night and sleep well. You just realized, is Gaster a skeleton like Sans and Papyrus, or is he a freak accident? That is hard to answer. I'm fairly certain that he's related to Sans and Papyrus, and like more than just like through story. Like maybe through blood, or like Brotherhood or something like that. Like there's something weird going on with them, and they're obviously related. I mean, Gaster, Wingding Gaster. I mean, he also has a font or a name based off of a font, like, and he talks in that font, like. So he's obviously related pretty deeply to Sans and Papyrus, but I don't know if he's a skeleton in particular. He does kind of look like one though, if we're being honest.
Put inside of our reality we live in. It operates as a device created by, presumably, Gaster. The screen is telling you you weren't supposed to get this far. When Chapter 7 rolls around, something will be made for you. This is only a specific version of the theory, and it does make sense. I do believe that it will have another ending, and Chris and Noel are able to break through the barrier. I also want to mention that the bread Sans gives you could reference an Earthbound glitch, where if you use the bread at a very specific spot in Earthbound, I believe you could pass out of bounds. Now, I'm not too certain on it. This is just something I've seen in passing. People speculate this is Sans' way of keeping track of you because he only gives you this item in the weird route, and you can't eat it because Susie will stop you. It directly links to them going out of bounds, a subtle way of telling us this. By doing this route, you're skipping chapters 5 and 6, essentially breaking the game. I know I did a poor job explaining these. Be sure to check out the full theory videos below if you want to know more. There are so many details about this route, so many little things that happen, both from a meta-narrative and a narrative standpoint. But ultimately, all we can do is wait. Keep theorizing, keep making AUs, and together we'll be able to make it to next year for Chapter 6. Thank you everyone so much for watching. If there are any AUs or theories you want me to talk about, let me know down below. My next video will likely be an analysis on what if Susie overswung, since I think that it's amazing and I'm really excited to talk about it. That, or it may be a smaller video. We'll see. Use code Dunkatchi to get 10% off your cheeky soap order, and remember, stay freaky.
Alright, that was a pretty good video. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see if, like, in the next coming week or so, if I can, maybe get a script written out. Maybe I should write it down, actually, so I don't forget. I'm always so bad about that. Neo Matrix theory. And then, obviously, Night Bullet theory. We'll see. I've been a little busy, obviously, lately, but, I don't know. Maybe it'll be after October, after the wedding, that I can end up making those videos, but we'll see. Maybe I'll have, I don't know, I might just have Robot help me write some of it, because I'm kind of bad at writing, but he's actually really good at writing, so maybe with our powers combined, I can get something finished, you know? Alright. I think as far as proportions go, I think that's pretty good. I really, really like how the hair came out, if I'm being honest. I think it's got, like... Where's the sketch layer I have for that? Yeah, I really like the bangs and the little things that hang off the side here. They're really cute. He's like really, really adorable. And if I make this into a VTubing model, I think it would look really good if it was like super bouncy and whatnot. Like, I think that would look really, really good. You got the goggles. Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty cute. Okay, I think that might be it for tonight. I didn't want to stream for super long. I still do have work tomorrow, and I do have to wake up in like 7 hours, so I did stay up a little late, but I couldn't sleep. I was too stressed. Oops. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna head to bed, you guys. You guys have a great night. Thanks for showing up, even though it's like midnight. It was pretty late, but I guess it is Saturday too, so. Let's see here. Yeah, 2 hours isn't too bad, honestly. Oh, thanks for the stream. That was an awesome stream anyway, Maywin. Thank you, and I hope we helped perk up your week. Now get some rest, old hag. You earned it. So shut up. I do need me some sleep though. I gotta wake up at like 7 and go in and get merchandise ordered and whatnot. But anyways. Yeah, you guys have a good night. Thank you for letting me vent and yell about sheep and yell about Deltarune. You guys have a good night, and you have a good rest of your weekend. I'll probably just be streaming on Wednesday next week. It really depends on if I do have anyone interested in buying any of more of my lambs. If I'll be able to stream on Thursday. But even if I don't stream on Thursday, I'll definitely be streaming on Wednesday with Farah if she isn't busy. And then maybe we'll do another kind of like late night stream on Saturday. We'll just see how I feel. It really depends. My sheep have been butt heads, and I'm trying to sell some of them, and I have to meet up with people and talk with a bunch of people and go to work at the same time, and it's a whole thing. But we'll figure it out. You guys have a good night, and thank you for coming by. Bye, guys.